Hey friends, welcome to this study with me, day in my life, online uni extravaganza. So this was one of the first days of online classes, if you can even call them that, to be honest. But yeah, let's get started. So on this day, I began by slapping on a load of makeup onto my face whilst watching Bones. I just enjoy putting on makeup if I'm feeling it that day, so yeah, that's what I did. Then I grabbed my planner and my iPad and wrote myself a to-do list for the day. Honestly, a lot of it kind of fell through on this day because a lot of the plans kind of changed, but we'll get onto that later on. So yeah, then I put my phone away in a drawer just so that I wouldn't get distracted by it. And I headed downstairs. So first I, of course, put on Hard Times on the Alexa. But yeah, I made myself an iced coffee. I've been making iced coffees every single morning and it is just the best way to start my day. Then I took my beautiful coffee back upstairs and I started off my day by replying to some comments. So I had posted a video the day before this was filmed, so I had a bunch of comments to reply to. Thank you to anyone who comments on my videos, by the way. I always really appreciate it. And then once I was finished with that, I ferried all of my stuff downstairs to the living room to set up my working space for the day. So yeah, I just really like working there. The table's so much bigger and I can open the door and let in loads of fresh air, which is really nice. And then I got myself started on some work. So first thing I did was a neurology lecture. So basically I just copied everything over from the lecture handout onto a Microsoft Word document and I went through that and the lecture slides and basically made my own notes. So I just kind of shortened them down, condensed them, write them in a bit more of my own words so that it's easier to revise from. Unfortunately, this is the limit of teaching really that we're getting this term, which kind of sucks. I think only one of our modules has uploaded lectures, like spoken lectures, onto Moodle. So yeah, the rest of them are just like basically go through the lecture handout and slides by yourself. So then I took a break after around 2 hours. I think I got myself some squash and the very healthy option of a pot noodle for lunch. When I went back, of course, Sylvester had stolen my chair. So then I set myself up on the sofa to have my lunch and watch more Bones. This was only supposed to be like a really quick break before I had a DOS meeting at 2:30. But my DOS actually went back to clinical work with the whole situation that's going on. So he got called back to the ward unexpectedly, so our meeting was moved, which is obviously completely fine. So instead of that, I had like an hour's lunch break and then got to doing a pharmacology presentation. So this one, if you saw the title, was about mechanisms of drug actions to do with rheumatoid arthritis, which was actually very apt considering your girl has RA. It was actually really interesting kind of learning about how so many of these medicines that I've actually taken myself actually work. So yeah, I started off by making myself like a plan. It kind of ended up just being my whole entire script, but I went through the lecture notes from last term and I basically wrote out all the stuff that I thought was relevant and that I wanted to include in the presentation into a separate document. And I also copied over a diagram from the handout, so I just drew it out on my iPad. I really like including like hand-drawn diagrams in my PowerPoints because it's so much easier to like manipulate them, and just if I want like a section of it erased for one of the slides, I can do that. So yeah, then I put that into my plan and I was done. So I then had dinner, and then I watched my sister play piano. I tasked her with learning Another Love by Tom Odell on the piano. It's been a week. She's learned about 20 seconds, although to be fair, it's so hard. So yeah, good luck to her. But whilst she was doing that, I then decided to finish off my presentation and just like actually make the PowerPoint and get it all done. So I basically just summarized everything into like keywords or phrases on the PowerPoint so that I could go along with it and expand on it rather than reading off of the slides during the actual presentation in our supervision. So this was the finished presentation. I was very pleased with it. That was actually all the work that I did for that day. I then just spent the rest of the evening stuffing my face with chocolate and watching The Vampire Diaries with my sister because I finally convinced her to watch it. It's only taken like 4 years. And yeah, then we move on to the next day. So the next day I once again got up quite late. I took a shower, good times. And then I was actually just sat there on my bed, and I was just like, why not film this? Because I do this a lot. I just sit, waste time and stare into space for no reason, and I think a lot of the time we just don't include this in the video because like it's just pointless, but it happens, and like it's fine to waste like 15 minutes just doing absolutely nothing. Like it's okay. You don't have to be productive every single second of the day. But then, yeah, I once again went downstairs and made myself some coffee and some breakfast because I regretted not having it the day before. I went and pestered my cat. He definitely hates me. And once again, I was watching Bones. So then I put on makeup again this day, and I once again wrote myself out a to-do list. This one went a little bit more to plan because the day before we were supposed to have a supervision as well in the evening, which we didn't end up having. So then on this day I started off by doing some pharmacology lecture notes. So these ones actually had a recording attached to it, which, dear Lord, I was so thankful, because it just means that I can do something other than just stare at my screen at a set of lecture notes. Like, even though sometimes at uni I don't go to lectures, it's so different when you're sat at home doing the same exact thing every single day. Like, it's so nice to like listen to someone explain it to you. But anyway, yeah, I was doing the same thing as I was doing the previous day, basically with my neurology notes. Then I had a meeting, I think this is Microsoft Teams, with my DOS. This was the meeting that we were supposed to have the day before. It was just like basically checking in, seeing how we're all doing, which was really nice. And then after that, I got back to typing up those pharmacology notes from the lecture. My sister actually made lunch that day, so we had these like weird rice-filled enchilada things, and we just watched The Vampire Diaries. The cat ate with us, which was fun, you know, whole fam. And then I once again got back to doing those pharmacology notes. They honestly take me forever. I don't understand why I spend so long making lecture notes, but like I cannot get them done in the hour that is allocated for a lecture. It takes me at least 4 probably to do one lecture. I just don't understand. But then I did some editing for a project that I'm doing for a company. I'm just making loads of videos for them. So yeah, that's what I did here. And then I went and got myself a cup of tea. Unfortunately, the label fell in. Something always has to go wrong. And I got myself some banana bread that my sister made to have during the 7 p.m. supervision that we had this day. So this is actually the first supervision that we had online. It was for human reproduction. It was good. Like, I love these supervisions. I just think our supervisor is very good at explaining things. She's so lovely, and she just puts so much effort into like preparing and structuring the supervisions. So yeah, this one was, I actually can't even remember what it was about. I think first we did like a bit of a quiz. I didn't know the answer to any of the questions, but that's okay. And then we talked about a bunch of things, stuff like lactation, I think, and like fetal lung fluid, surfactant. Here's me just looking rather unimpressed at the whole situation. Not at the supervision, I will stress, not at the supervision, at Microsoft Teams. But yeah, here are my notes that I made during that supervision. I actually made a lot of notes. I surprised myself. But yeah, that was the last thing that I did that day. I probably just messed around for the rest of the evening, and then watched Bones till 1 a.m. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!